Namaskar friends, welcome to Surreal Sociology. Today's topic is Durkheim's concept of suicide, a classical example of structural functionalism. दोस्तों, Durkheim's study of suicide is a classical example of how structural functionalism can be applied to understand a social phenomena. Durkheim examined suicide rates in different societies and found that the rates were influenced by social factors such as the strength of social bonds and the degree of social integration. He argued that strong social bonds and high levels of social integration could reduce suicide rates by providing individuals with a sense of belonging and connection to their community, with reducing the feeling of isolation and loneliness. Conversely, weak social bonds and low levels of social integration could increase suicide rates. Durkheim found in his research that the unmarried individuals, people who were not part of religious communities and those who did not have close relationship with their families were more likely to commit suicide. In contrast, individuals with strong social bonds and high levels of social integration, such as those who were part of tight-knit communities or who had close relationship with family and friends, had lower suicide rates. One of the most significant examples of Durkheim's finding can be seen in modern societies. As societies become more individualistic and less community-oriented, suicide rates have been observed to increase. This trend can be attributed to the weakening of social bonds and the decrease in social integration in modern society. One notable example that supports Durkheim's findings is the high suicide rates among indigenous youth in Canada. Studies have shown that these youth experience a range of social factors that contribute to feeling of isolation and disconnection, such as poverty, discrimination, and historical trauma. As a result, they often lack the social bonds and connection that can protect against suicide. In contrast, indigenous communities that have maintained strong cultural traditions and practices, such as the Inuit community in Canada, have lower suicide rates due to the social integration and sense of belonging that this tradition provides. During his research, Durkheim found that Protestants had higher suicide rates than Catholics. He argued that Protestantism emphasized individualism and encouraged people to rely on themselves, which could lead to feeling of isolation and loneliness. On the other hand, Catholicism emphasized community and social connection, which could provide individuals with a greater sense of purpose and belonging. Another example is Durkheim's observation of suicide rates among unmarried individuals. He found that unmarried people had higher suicide rates than married individuals, which he again attributed to the social bonds and connections provided by marriage. Marriage provided individuals with a sense of belonging and connection to their partner, children, and family, which could help prevent feeling of loneliness and isolation. One more example that illustrates Durkheim's finding is the high suicide rates among the individuals in Japan. The social isolation and loneliness experienced by many elderly individuals in Japan's aging population contribute to high suicide rates. Overall, Durkheim highlighted the importance of social structures and social integration in maintaining social order and stability. These structures serve to bind individuals together and provide them with a sense of belonging and purpose, reducing the risk of deviant behavior such as suicide. Finally, Durkheim in his study of suicide demonstrated how social structures and institutions can have a functional role in shaping human behavior and society as a whole. Thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day. Jai Hind.